Welcome to another live reaction, week 6 of Carole Tuesday. We saw what happened week 5. They got their first live gig. It went well. Gus got a call from some dude, and that's where we left off. So without further ado, let's get started. So here we go again with Gus trying to get them something that they probably aren't ready for. So first we had them trying to get their music played by a DJ, and the DJ wanted nothing to do with them. Then we had them trying to make a music video, and the music video didn't go very well. And then they just snuck onto a stage and did a performance, and that kind of worked, guerrilla marketing style. And then we have this, right? So the theme of this show, one of the themes of the show is generally that they're always trying to do things that, or Gus is trying to get them to do things that they aren't ready for. And I think the point that they're trying to make is inorganic success isn't really the way to go. You want to organically grow and grow your audience, and you don't want to do a stunt that brings in a bunch of people who may not be around the next time, right? And this show really focuses on that because we're contrasting Carole Tuesday's kind of grassroots rise to the AI, which have been just like calculated to make the exact type of music that would get popular, and that's not what they're doing. They're kind of doing the opposite of that. They're making music that they want to make, but they also wanted people to hear it. So they have to strike this fine balance between making music that people want to hear and also doing things that'll get their name out there, because otherwise they would just still be playing at this club 7-8 years from now. So it's kind of funny how the show is trying to show us that it's important to strike this balance, but maybe not go too far one side or the other. This has to be a Coachella ripoff, right? There's no way this isn't. Because look at it's in the desert. There's a bunch of tents. It's white tents, you know. There's a weird kind of bad boy behaved rock star going to perform at it. It can't not be Coachella, right? Point of notice is that this is the same song that they played for Erdogan before. So even though they have AIs that can make like a song a minute, I'm guessing they're computers. They can do whatever they want. So he's still playing the same song. I guess it's one of his hits, maybe. Also interesting to note is the relationship between Roddy and Erdogan, because Erdogan is like the typical, like attractive, conventionally socialized kind of frontman of the group. And then Roddy's like the one behind the scenes that makes all the music, right? And if you compare that to today's music scene, the parallel you would get is he's like the singer that gets all their songs and lyrics written for them. So really they only perform it when the work behind the scenes is done by the producers and the songwriters and everyone else that does all the work, and they just get to take the credit. But it's not like the people behind the scenes don't want to participate in that system, because if they were to do it alone, and there have been examples of people where they do it alone and they are successful, but if they were to do it alone, they wouldn't have some of those like conventional mainstream traits that would appeal to the audience or the same audience that they're writing songs for. So they're able to kind of be successful, vicariously through these other people. Now that may not be what they want, but that's what they're basically telling us in the system here. Again, the show says that it's in the future, but it's very reflective on the current music industry that we have in today's day and age. Another cool thing to see. She says we're going to put him on the stage even if it kills him, right? So she's supposed to be managing the artist, but where's the concern for the artist in that stage? She isn't really concerned about his health or what he's been doing for the past 24 hours before he showed up to the festival. She just wants to get him on the stage so that he can perform and make his fee, so that way she gets his fee. So the show's again saying, the mainstream kind of successful music industry in this world isn't really concerned with either the music or the artists, because the music is done by AIs and the artist is just put on stage even if it's going to kill them. So that's what the show is saying right now. Of course, contrasted with Carole Tuesday, who care deeply about each other, and Gus, who cares deeply about the both of them, and they're very interested in their music. They make their own music, so that's the contrast here, as always. Kind of funny that kind of ominous looking dude actually gave them good advice. I thought something really creepy was about to happen, but no, he was actually a solid guy who gave them good advice. Who knew? Wait, that's his voice? Okay, that's a heck of a falsetto right there, because remember when he spoke, it was like a baritone sax playing. Okay. Yeah, so remember when I said that after last episode, I felt like the animation budget was getting a little bit sketchy? There was that one good, like, 3-second shot of him just, like, fingering his bass. And that was well animated and smooth. But there's been a 10-second wide shot of Skip just standing on a stage, and now, like, an 8-second shot of their faces not even moving. And it looks to me like Tuesday's face is a little bit out of whack right here in this shot. Clearly they're saving up for something. I'm gonna guess more musical performances. They're really channeling their budget into the right spots. But when you get these static shots where nothing is moving at all, it just kind of feels like it's a letdown for what the show is trying to do. So they get on the stage, they're halfway through a song, and then they get just interrupted by them figuring out that, oh, we're supposed to be on live in front of a Coachella stage, main stage for 100,000 people. Maybe we should actually, give it a shot instead of letting these people perform. Absolutely bait and switched. Oh my god. Pretty sure he just fell off the stage, but we'll see. So that was the Coachella episode. I guess it's like the equivalent of the music equivalent of the beach episode, where everyone goes to the beach and then you get to see them like frolicking around in there. We meet all these new characters at the Sidonia Fest, and this is a 2-course show, I think. So it's gonna be a heck of a ride if we get to meet these people all the way at the end. We're only in episode 6, and we're not anywhere close to Carole Tuesday being able to perform at this. My assumption for why they're introducing us to all these characters is that we're gonna, do a full circle and come right back to this Sidonia Fest at the very end, and they're gonna be performing either on the main stage or on the side stage or something like that. Pretty solid episode. I felt like a lot of it was trying to put a light on the behind the scenes happenings of the music industry in general. We had that one guy from the Omega band who was just too messed up to even perform. And then he comes out late. That's a pretty regular occurrence at all these kind of music festivals. We had Skip and Crystal. Clearly there's something going on between them, or there was something going on between them. And then they broke up, and now they don't feel good about it, and both of them are making sad love songs. I felt it was just kind of an interesting look at just various figures in the music industry. I'm pretty sure you can draw just straight lines from people that we saw in this episode to people who actually exist in the music festival or in the music industry in general. Pretty interesting look. It's still curious to me why this show exists in the first place. It feels like Shinichiro Watanabe just took his love for music, which we saw in Cowboy Bebop and all that, and just drew a straight line and be like, hey, why don't we make a whole show that just talks about the music industry in general? I'm going to say again, I keep telling Netflix to put out this show week to week, but I don't think this show works best when you watch it week to week. I really feel like you have to watch the whole show front to back. Just because of how slow paced it is and how kind of atmospheric the world is. It doesn't really lend itself well to week by week watching, but that's kind of the situation we find ourselves in as an anime community, is that we're supposed to watch shows week to week, or that's the just the general accepted practice. So here I am watching it week to week, but definitely if you're looking forward to the show or you haven't started it yet, we're almost a quarter of the way through. Maybe instead of catching up now, just wait till it's all over and then watch it at the end. I think that's probably for the best. I don't really know what else to say about the show. The show is in general just a pretty solid show. It doesn't try to tackle too many things. It is very focused on the things that it does try to tackle. It uses it cuts from one shot to another pretty cleverly. It does that almost every episode, so I don't really talk about it as much. I talked about it probably in episode 1 or 2. Where it tells a story by just using cuts, and that's kind of like what they do in movies. So clearly there's some inspiration there to use that as a storytelling method, because that's not really something that you get in anime. Usually you just get characters explaining exactly what's happening, and that's one style of doing it. This is another style of doing it. I'm interested in this whole grassroots musicianship thing, because I'm wondering why they chose to do this episode so early in the run, right? We're only on episode 6, and they're true rookies. Like, they've only performed ever live once, and to take them from a crowd of 10 people and put them in front of 100,000 people straight off the bat, I wonder what the show is trying to accomplish by doing that, because I don't really think there's that much to be gained by doing it this early. I feel like even if we were to meet these characters and they're important for the end of the show, I really feel like it should have been like maybe halfway through, when Carole Tuesday may actually have a decent chance of performing there, because even if you do get a backup for a show this big, you're not going to get someone completely unknown, because no one will know who they are and no one will like them. But if you are booking a replacement for a band this big, then you should get someone that maybe the people in the audience will already know and already maybe even like. That way you don't get people throwing tomatoes on stage or rushing on stage or some kind of unsafe security situation. I don't really think they considered that. I'm not going to say this episode is unrealistic, because what's the point of saying that? The marketing for the show is still on point. I should really go check out their Instagram feed at some point, because I feel like they're continuously updating that. And the musical performances for the show have already gone, are pretty popular, as I said. I wonder if this one will go. It was only half a song, so I doubt it. But the other songs in the show also probably are going to get some play, just by virtue of being in the show in the first place. I'm interested to see where it'll go from here, because every episode they seem to tackle some like method of advancement, method of gaining popularity in the business, or they're tackling like one particular aspect of becoming a musician or participating in the music industry. So really it's like kind of a dissection of the music industry at this current stage in time, with the kind of mainstream plant acts being equated to the AI type artists. So I think it's a pretty funny metaphor that they're using for this. We'll see where it goes from here. Carole and Tuesday are basically bystanders at this point. Their main like action and the satire, or not satire, commentary on the music industry is happening all around them. They're not really involved in it as such. But it is interesting nonetheless. So if you want to watch the show, there's nowhere you can currently watch it. This is a fan sub. Good luck finding it. It'll be on Netflix at the end of it. Usually I like to put links to where you can watch the shows that I'm talking about in the description, just because you should support where the anime comes from in the first place. But this is going to be on Netflix after it airs in its entirety, so we can talk about it more then, I guess. Until then, we'll see what happens in week 7. This was week 6 of Carole Tuesday. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next episode.